Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure you're part of our journey. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and get ready for a story that will leave you thinking. And if you love inspiring tales, a like goes a long way. He can't play with us. He's broken. The words sliced through the playground noise, leaving only silence. 8-year-old Ethan's hands gripped his wheelchair tighter, his smile fading as quickly as the children's laughter had moments before. Parents on nearby benches shifted uncomfortably, some pretending to check phones, others watching with sympathetic yet helpless expressions. The playground buzzed with awkward energy as children froze, unsure whether to follow the leader's proclamation or challenge it. Ethan's mother stepped forward, her face flushed with familiar pain. What happened next would transform not just that moment, but everyone who witnessed it. A towering figure paused at the park's edge, baseball cap pulled low, sunglasses concealing most of his face. But there was no mistaking the presence of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as he assessed the scene unfolding before him. If this moment made you feel something, imagine what's coming next. Hit that like button and stay with us. Subscribe now. Ethan had been looking forward to this day all week. His new adaptive wheelchair had arrived, lighter and more maneuverable than his old one. "You'll be able to go anywhere now," his mom had promised with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. They both knew anywhere had its limits. Still, when they arrived at Westside Park with its recently renovated, inclusive playground, hope flickered in Ethan's chest. Children swarmed the equipment like ants on candy, their shrieks of joy echoing across the park. For a moment, watching from the sidelines, Ethan allowed himself to imagine being part of that chaos. His mother squeezed his shoulder. "Go on," she encouraged. "I'll be right here." With a deep breath, he wheeled forward, approaching a group playing an improvised game of tag around the jungle gym. The lead boy, tall for his age, wearing a superhero t-shirt, noticed Ethan first. His expression shifted from surprise to something harder as he raised his hand, stopping the game. 4 other children gathered around him, forming a small, impenetrable wall. "What do you want?" the boy asked, his voice carrying across the playground. Parents glanced up briefly before returning to their phones or conversations. This scene had played out before on countless playgrounds. Ethan swallowed hard. "Can I play too?" The words came out softer than he intended. The tall boy looked Ethan up and down, his gaze lingering on the wheelchair. "We're playing tag," he said, as if that explained everything. A girl beside him giggled. "How can you play tag? You can't even run." More laughter rippled through the group, sharp as glass. Ethan's throat tightened. He'd practiced responses to these situations with his therapist, but the carefully rehearsed words evaporated from his mind. His mother had risen from her bench, hovering halfway between intervention and allowing her son to handle the situation himself, the impossible balance she constantly sought. Other parents were now watching too, their discomfort palpable. A woman in designer sunglasses whispered to her friend, "Someone should do something." But no one moved. No one except the man who had stopped along the park's walking path. He stood motionless, observing the scene with growing intensity. The children, focused on their exclusionary drama, didn't notice him remove his sunglasses and tuck them into his pocket. They didn't see him adjust his cap and square his shoulders. They didn't realize that one of Hollywood's biggest stars was about to step into their ordinary playground politics. Things are about to take a turn. Don't miss what happens next. Subscribe, like our video, and keep watching. "He's broken," the tall boy repeated, louder this time, looking around for approval. "We can't have broken kids playing with us." Each word landed like a physical blow. Ethan began to back his wheelchair away, eyes fixed on the ground, when a deep voice cut through the playground noise. "Excuse me, but I couldn't help overhearing." The voice was friendly but carried an unmistakable authority. Heads turned. Conversations stopped. Even the children sensed something had changed. Dwayne Johnson approached with the casual confidence that had made him a global icon. To his credit, he didn't make a spectacle of his arrival. He simply walked over and crouched down between Ethan and the group of children, somehow managing to seem both enormous and completely unthreatening. "I'm Dwayne," he said to the bewildered children, then turned to Ethan with a genuine smile. "And you are?" Ethan's mouth opened, but no sound emerged. His mother stepped forward. "He's Ethan. He's a huge fan of yours." Recognition dawned on the children's faces in waves. Whispers of "It's the Rock" rippled through the playground. Parents were standing now, phones discreetly raised to capture the moment. The tall boy's bravado faltered, his expression cycling through shock, embarrassment, and uncertainty. Johnson nodded at Ethan's mother with respect before focusing back on the children. "I heard you all playing tag. That's my favorite game." His eyes twinkled as he glanced at Ethan. "Mind if we join?" The boy in the superhero shirt shifted uncomfortably. "But he can't run," he said, his voice now small and unsure. Johnson considered this thoughtfully. "You know, I've played tag lots of different ways. When I was filming Jumanji, we had to create a whole new version because the jungle was too dense for regular tag." He looked around the group. "The really cool players know how to adapt the game so everyone can play. That's what makes someone a true leader." The other children were watching now, magnetic curiosity drawing them closer. "Want to know something interesting?" Johnson continued, his voice carrying just enough to gather more children without seeming to perform. "In my movies, I've played all kinds of characters. Some can run fast, some are super strong. But the real heroes I've played aren't the ones who can lift the heaviest things or run the fastest." He glanced meaningfully at Ethan. "They're the ones who figure out how to include everyone in the mission." A little girl with braids raised her hand as if in class. "How do we play tag with someone in a wheelchair?" The question was innocent, curious rather than cruel. Johnson smiled. "That's exactly the right question to ask." He turned to Ethan. "What do you think, buddy? Got any ideas?" Something shifted in Ethan's expression. For perhaps the first time in his life, he wasn't being told how things would be adapted for him. He was being asked. As the center of attention for something other than his disability, Ethan straightened in his chair. His voice, when it came, was clear and confident. "What if whoever's it counts to 5 when chasing me? This story is only getting deeper. What would you do in this situation? Comment below, and let's talk." Johnson nodded approvingly. "That's brilliant. A 5-second handicap. What else?" As Ethan suggested more adaptations, safe zones near ramps, special rules for tagging his wheelchair, other children began offering ideas too. The playground had transformed into a collaborative workshop, celebrities and differences momentarily forgotten in the excitement of creating something new. Phones continued recording, parents exchanging glances that mixed astonishment with something like shame. The tall boy lingered at the edge of the group, conflict evident on his face. Johnson noticed. With subtle grace, he created an opening in the circle. "We need someone to demonstrate how this would work. Someone athletic." His eyes met the boy's. "What's your name, buddy?" The boy swallowed. "Tyler." "Tyler," Johnson repeated with genuine warmth. "I bet you're fast. Want to help me show everyone how this new version works?" It was an offering, a chance at redemption without humiliation. Tyler hesitated, then stepped forward. Johnson placed a gentle hand on his shoulder, drawing him into the center beside Ethan. "All right, here's how it works," Johnson announced, assuming the role of game master with the same charisma that had filled theaters worldwide. Tyler's "it" first. When chasing Ethan, he counts 1 rock star, 2 rock star, up to 5 before tagging. For everyone else, regular rules apply. He winked at Ethan. And Ethan's wheelchair counts as part of him, so no sneaky tagging of just the chair. Tyler nodded, a new seriousness in his expression. "I get it," Johnson continued. "Safe zones are by the ramps, but you can only stay there for 5 seconds. Everyone clear?" Enthusiastic nods all around. Johnson clapped his massive hands. "Let's do this." What followed was something none of the onlookers would soon forget. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, global superstar and one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood, played tag with a group of children in a public park. He ran with exaggerated movements, bringing the same theatrical energy to this impromptu game as to his blockbuster films. His laughter, genuine and uninhibited, echoed across the playground. The most remarkable transformation, however, was Ethan's. His wheelchair, moments ago a symbol of his exclusion, became almost an advantage in certain situations. He maneuvered with surprising agility, using techniques clearly practiced but rarely displayed in public. When he was "it," the other children quickly learned he was far from helpless. At one point, Ethan cornered Tyler near the slide. The boy who had called him broken was now breathless with genuine excitement. "No fair! You're faster than you look." Tyler laughed as Ethan tagged him. The comment could have been offensive, but context transformed it. Both boys grinned. Johnson, watching nearby, gave Ethan a subtle thumbs up. Parents who had been filming gradually lowered their phones, many joining the growing perimeter of spectators. Ethan's mother wiped tears that she made no effort to hide. A woman beside her squeezed her arm in silent solidarity. Throughout the park, conversations had stopped. Even teenagers engrossed in their phones looked up to witness the scene. The game continued for nearly 20 minutes, evolving as the children suggested new variations. When it finally wound down, the players collapsed in a laughing, sweaty circle, Ethan's wheelchair positioned as naturally among them as any other child. It's not over yet. The best part is coming. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Johnson crouched in the center of their circle, his presence somehow both larger than life and completely natural. "That," he said, slightly out of breath, "was epic. You all created something special today." He looked around the group. "You know what I learned in my career. The best teams aren't made of people who are all the same. The best teams have different strengths." He glanced at Ethan. "Some have speed, some have agility, some have strategy, some have wheels. But together," he made an explosive gesture with his hands, "magic." The children nodded, their faces flushed with exertion and something deeper, the unique satisfaction of shared creation. Tyler, sitting cross-legged beside Ethan's wheelchair, looked up at the boy he had excluded. "That was awesome. Maybe we could play again tomorrow?" The question contained a universe of changed perspectives. Ethan's smile could have powered the entire park. Definitely. As Johnson prepared to leave, parents approached with the expected requests for photos and autographs. He obliged with genuine grace, but made sure that Ethan was included in several pictures, his arm draped around the boy's shoulders. "This little man," Johnson told the crowd, "is the real star today." Word spread quickly through social media. Local news picked up the story by evening. By the next morning, clips of the famous actor playing adaptive tag with children had gone viral across multiple platforms. What resonated wasn't just the celebrity sighting, but the organic way Johnson had handled the situation, not with a public shaming or heavy-handed lesson, but with an invitation to be better. In interviews days later, he would deflect praise with characteristic humility. "I just facilitated," he told one reporter. "Those kids did the real work, especially Ethan. That kid has more strength than most adults I know." The most significant changes happened beyond the cameras. The following weekend, Ethan returned to the park with his mother, both braced for disappointment. Instead, they found Tyler waiting by the playground entrance. 3 other children stood with him. "We created some new games," Tyler announced, "one where being in a wheelchair is actually better." Across America, playground interactions subtly shifted. The viral video sparked conversations in classrooms and dinner tables about inclusion and adaptation. Physical therapists reported using The Rock's tag as motivation for young patients. A children's book was even commissioned, with proceeds going to accessibility programs. But perhaps the most profound testament came 6 months later, when Ethan's mother posted a simple photo. Her son and Tyler at a birthday party, arms thrown around each other's shoulders, grinning with the unselfconscious joy of true friendship. Her caption read simply, "Some broken things, when mended, become stronger at the breaks. Thank you, at The Rock, for helping these boys find their strength." Wow, what a story! If this moved you, imagine what else we have for you. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and let us know what you think.